So live from Zhoda International Raceway, we got the 450 A-Class out there on the track right now. Your current leader, he's been there before many a times, goes by the name of Ryan Miller. Miller on the 501 Yamaha out of Miami, Manitoba. Looks like Josh Firmer's put himself in the number 2 ride, followed by the 502 machine. That's a KTM, he's not on my list. 502 is followed by the 145 of Brady Breeders out of Manitoba, Manitoba, and the 571 is Tyler Plett. Just outside the top 5, the 777 of Marcus Moros, followed by the 401 of Josh Penner. Rounding out your field, you got Adam Orvis. .502, that's currently sitting in 3rd place. That's Brandon Kofstad. What's that? Follow that yellow bike around. Laps quick down on this the first 450 moto of the day, the A-Class, the fastest 450 riders in all of Manitoba. Bleachers are absolutely packed with such celebrity riders like Jumpin' Jimmy Frederickson looking at the track very scrutinizingly. He's looking for lines. Ryan Miller way out front, currently putting Darcy Clausen a lap down, making him look like a B rider out there. Oh, Miller making it look really easy right now as the track already starting to form up some lines. The ever-changing surface here at Zhoda International Raceway. Sandy with also a little bit of a harder base, so it does shape up to some nice lines and ruts. Like we might get a 1-lap flag come out for Ryan Miller. Currently in your shot there is your 2nd place rider's Josh Firmer. A couple more laps to go here. As Miller continues to lead, selecting a different line through this section than the lap previous, checking everything out, making sure that he knows every line needed to be taken if he, for some reason, would have to take a different line to pass somebody. Smart move on his part. Like I said, your 2nd place rider right now, Josh Firmer on that Trans-Canada Motorsports Suzuki. 3rd place right now is the Kawasaki. Now of Bremer's, the 145, brought to you by Prove It, as well as Trans-Canada Motorsports Kawasaki. Kawasaki and Suzuki both being able to be purchased at Trans-Canada Motorsports in Brandon. Kofstad holding down your 4th place spot, but hot on his heels is the 571 of Tyler Plett. Plett coming out of the woodwork a little bit, missing the first round that we had in Altona. Coming back for this 2nd round here at Zhoda International Raceway, located about 30 minutes southeast of Steinbach. This is your first moto of the day, the 450 A-Class, followed by the 450 or the plus 40A and B class. A class full of riders who should probably know better what they don't. I like to joke joke sometimes, a little bit of a geriatric group, as you've got Lawrence Hams in there, Earl Reimer, who I believe are well past the plus 40 class, that's for damn sure. Ryan Douglas is also featured in that class. Corey Perrant, who I believe is currently holding the points lead, he'll be running the red number plate, simply signifying that he's the points leader in that class. Myron Penner, Jeremy Fraze, Jeff Morgan are just a few that will be featured in this next moto, the plus 40A and plus 40B class. One lap left, 1 lap remaining for Ryan Miller, currently leading. He's got a big lead right now, not too much to worry about as he's well on his way to capturing the first moto win of the day. He's got quite the gap over Josh Firmer on the 314. Great ride from Firmer in his own right. Darcy Clausen out there out of Selkirk, Manitoba, aboard the West Side Honda. First moto of the day for him. Looking like he's already dealing with quite a bit of arm pump. Checkered flag is out, and it is Ryan Miller who takes your first moto victory. Not too far behind is the 314 of Josh Firmer. We're back third of the class there. Looks like they got put down by a lap there. Adam Orbis and Darcy Clausen. The rest of the riders staying on the lead lap. I believe your third place rider will in fact be Brady Breemers, the 145 in your program out of Melita, Manitoba. Brought to you by Prove It and TransCanada Motorsports. Out of Brandon, none other than Tyler Plett, followed by Kofstad. Kofstad originally at one point was in the second place position, but perhaps sand getting the better of him in this moto. No crashes for him, but he loses 5 positions to end up in the 5th place spot by the end of this moto. Excellent ride for Tyler Plett as his first moto back in the 2018 season. This moto brought to you by 204 Skate Shop, located in the heart of Selkirk, Manitoba. 204 Skate Shop, your one-stop shop for everything lifestyle in Manitoba. Directly following this moto, the plus 40A and plus 40B class. That means some old guys that are still pretty fast and some old guys that aren't very fast. gate has fallen for the plus 40A class. Looks like a great start from the 117 of Shane Langdale, former national champion. He's followed by Corey Perrant. Right behind Perrant is the 100 machine of Earl Reimer and the 87 of Lawrence Ham. We'll catch the riders as they come back into frame here. Excuse me for a second. The first place here. B class filing through. Looks like a great start from the 45 machine of Calvin Kotowicz. Yamaha is set to do battle. They are friends. These guys know each other quite well. Shane Langdale, followed by the 256 of Corey Perrant. Perrant rocking those red number plates as he is your points leader in this class. Earl Reimer on the 250F, actually could be a 450. Making the pass there. He is a sand specialist, and Zhoda definitely has a sandy mix in this soil, probably more sand than anything else. As Langdale continues to lead, followed by Reimer and Perrant. Your fourth place spot, the hamburger himself, Lawrence Ham, followed by Wayne Patterson. Patterson is followed closely by Scott Harlan. Langdale continues to lead on the 117 machine. Sole proprietor of Century Power Sports. Need a sand tire to hook up a little bit better out on this track. Definitely suggest going to Century Power Sports and getting yourself a tire that would be best suited for this soil. Reimer looking to make the pass here, and he's able to do so up the inside. Earl Reimer on the 100 machine, leading the way in a Manitoba Motocross race, something he's done 100 times before. Earl Reimer actually well into his 70s right now. I believe he's 78 or 79 years old. He's been doing this for quite some time. Originally turned pro back in 1956. A long time at it. Shane Langdale back in, I believe, 1993 was his Canadian National Championship with a CMA Canadian National title. Serious talent up the front. Corey Perrant, fantastic Manitoba Motocross racer in his own right. Many championships to his credit in Manitoba. And currently in fourth place, a rider who probably bought his first house off of the motocross winnings that he accrued throughout the late 80s and early 90s. Rocking the number 87 is Lawrence Ham, a rider who'd often go down to Supercross races in Toronto, as well as Minneapolis and stuff like that throughout the late 80s, early 90s. Actually carried a national number and would race the USGP back in the days. A long-time professional in motocross and looking great out there. Might also add that the top 5 riders in this class are all wearing FXR gear. A couple of different renditions of that FXR gear as far as what year it came from, but looks like Earl's wearing some stuff from a bygone era, maybe 10 plus years ago, back when he was in his 60s. And then you got Langdale that's wearing, I believe it's either this year's or last year's stuff. And of course, Corey Perrant would be caught in nothing but the 2018 FXR gear, that factory ride stuff, or factory racing edition gear. So all 3 riders in the top 3, and all the way through your top 5, all in the bright FXR gear. In fact, I believe your leader in the plus 40 class, plus 40B class, is also Kevin Godowich, wearing the FXR stuff as well. Currently holding down your third place position in the plus 40B class on a 1983 YZ125. I wish I was making that up. Is none other than Chris Dorkson. Dorkson out of North Kildonan, riding vintage bikes is kind of his thing, so that's what he chooses to ride, a vintage motorcycle, and does so quite well. I believe that bike currently has a leaking shock, so he might be, the bike might be handling a little bit worse as the laps tick down, but still keeping pace with Kodowich, who's actually on a bike that was originally purchased by Chris Dirksen. A little bit of funny fact there. Laps are clicking down on the plus 40A and B division right now. Directly following this moto, we'll have the 450B and C class combined moto. Leon Demaray, Kyle Warner, Adam Weeb, Jordan Urich, Nicholas Friesen, Mackenzie Hancock, as well as John Lee, Nathan Wright, or Nate Wright, and Anna Laliberty, Federley Weeb, Corey Keys, Ethan Spagrid, Sean Stapleton, Daniel Schaefer, Alex Penner, and Brandon Muziak, Mazika, Brandon Mazika on the 722. We're going to have a last lap flag come out real soon here for Earl Reimer. Continues to lead aboard his, it's like a Sun and Snow Suzuki. Could be wrong about that though. Reimer out of the Kenora area. Grew up in the sand. Has always done well at sand tracks. I believe, in fact, grabbing some wins over the younger riders in the pro class even just a few years ago, showing that he's still got the speed regardless. Reimer continues to lead, followed by Langdale and Perrant. Perrant, obviously your points leader from last weekend, or 2 weekends ago rather, in this class. His points lead will stay safe as Langdale and Earl Reimer were not in attendance. Got to imagine that the wind is playing a factor in the recording of my voice right now. I do apologize about that if that's the case. Earl the Sidewinder Reimer, or Earl the Squirrel, depending on what nickname you want to use. I think there's a few people out there that also call him Scrap Iron. But either way, he's leading this moto aboard his Suzuki. Looks like Perrant looking to make a move on Langdale. Making an effort for the third place spot, or take away that second place spot away from Shane Langdale from Winnipeg, Manitoba. I believe Langdale is a registered massage therapist, and if he doesn't win this moto, there will be no happy ending. Next moto for him. Langdale on the 117. 1 lap left for Earl Reimer. Captured the lead after the first lap was completed. and has not let go of his grip of that lead so far, built it up slightly. As our umbrella takes a little bit of a spill, looks like that thing's going to be done for the day. Old scrap iron rhymer out front style, making it look easy, and it is not easy. This track very challenging, soil that moves around, changes every lap, very difficult to go through any section the same way twice. If you're a little bit inexperienced above the soils here in Zhoda International Raceway, Daryl, Burmy, Jamie, and DJ doing an amazing job getting this track up to where it needs to be one of the best tracks here in Manitoba. Excellent fencing system. They do a great job with prep and all that fun stuff. So they do a phenomenal job. They're hosting practice sessions so riders can increase their sense of mastery at this track. As Earl Reimer taking the first checkered flag of his 2018 season, Langdale will be the second place rider, followed by Corey Perrant. I believe still holding down the fourth place spot. I could be wrong about that actually. I do believe that 120 or 144 equipped Suzuki. Looks like Dwayne Patterson has moved into the number 4 position aboard his Suzuki, putting one position between himself and Lawrence Ham. This also Patterson's first race of the year after he was not in attendance at Altona 1 week ago. Patterson navigating his way to the finish line with his brand new 2018 FXR, all black and white gear. Also in the black and white is the hamburger himself, Lawrence Ham, followed by the 129 of Scott Harland, sole proprietor over at Trans-Canada Suzuki. You can probably bet that he's riding a Trans-Canada Suzuki, as many of the yellow bikes are from that location. I have a baseball cap in my truck if you need. Oh, whatever. Oh, we got another moto on the track, so.
I was just going to say, those are going to sit and watch for a while.
Yeah.
We don't need to do that.
Yeah? Yeah.
So I know what I need to set off.
Yeah, I'll text you as soon as we leave. 450. You want to unmute me or just that? I'm on. Great. We're getting all this. This is all awesome radio. Good radio. 450B and C class on the track right now. Doesn't look like the gate has dropped for the C class unless it already has. But out front, Ethan Spaggard, followed by 21 of Devin Ray. Daniel Schaefer currently only down the third place spot, followed by the 99 of Alex Penner. Adam Weeb sitting in the fourth place position, or fifth place position rather. Catch a few numbers off them as they go by. Looks like they delivered both the tracks at the same time. Roger Lavoie communicating with his flaggers to position themselves according to the best advantageous viewing position for the spot that they're patrolling. First lap being led, and a sizable lead on the first lap. Ethan Spaggard, the 5.56 on the 252 stroke, looking great out there. I believe it's his third year on the big bikes, originally on 254 strokes, now second year on the 252 stroke, looking good out there, followed by Daniel Schaefer on the 450. Brand new bike for him this year. Alex Penner sitting in the third place spot, followed by the 116 of Nick Friesen. Friesen avoided the two-stroke, chooses a different line. Looks like it's going to work out for him as he's going around the outside of Penner. He gets that spot and secures himself a podium ride so far in this moto. The 21 machine of Demarais must have gone down at some point as he now finds himself at the back of the pack. Sizable lead so far for Spaggard as he's out front, followed by the 807 of Schaefer. Nick Friesen currently sitting in the third place spot, followed by Alex Penner. Surprised not to see one of your moto victors from last weekend. The 246 machine, or the 264 machine rather, of Jake Parnell. Won a moto in this class last weekend. I believe he was practicing yesterday, but I don't see him on my start list for today. Curious about that. Not seeing him out there. Oh, he's in the Open B class. The 728 of Sean Stapleton now sitting in the 5th place spot, followed by the 502 of Corey Keys aboard his 252 stroke. Opening up a more and more impressive lead so far is the 556 of Ethan Spaggard. Spaggard enjoying a lot of success on mini bikes. Dealt with some knee injuries while coming he injured himself at Pilot Mound, and now having come back to the fray. Is the only rider in the 450C class, so he's in first and last in that class. Daniel Schaefer now starting to feel some pressure from Nick Friesen, who wants to put two strokes in the front of the pack. Schaefer also doing a fair bit of freestyle in the last few years. Good to see him come back to racing as well a little bit. Right now the race is for second place as Ethan Spaggard is absolutely gone. Bit of a scary moment there for Nick Friesen as he had a bit of a swap on that first straightaway after the start, the first corner. Riders trying to be smart about what line they choose going through this section. Spaggard currently at least 2 sections ahead of everybody else. Absolutely flying out there right now. Hancock looking to put a move on Adam Weed. Federally Weeb out there on his 450. Changed his number this year. He used to be number 11. Now he's number 450. Interesting change to his number. Ooh, we've got a rider down on the backside of a tricky jump. Thankfully that's not your leader, but we'll have to get a number off of that bike. I think that could be the 502 of Corey Keys. That rider down and not moving. Rider being attended to on the back side of the track there. Oh, Keys actually going down in a different corner. Interestingly enough, Corey Keys going down in one of those rutted corners aboard his two-stroke. It's like possibly a serious injury on the backside of that little step-up jump heading into that left-hand corner. So the battle still goes on between Friesen and Schaefer. Schaefer on the four-stroke, 450. Friesen riding his 250 two-stroke. Shallen Stapleton currently sitting in the 4th place position, followed by the 899 of Penner. The 257 is John Lee for his Yamaha 252 stroke. Jordan Urich, followed by Mackenzie Hancock and Leon Demarais. Rounding out your field is the 44 machine of Kyle Warner and the 105 rather of Adam Lieb. Have not seen Brandon Mazika. I think that is who went down on the backside of the track. Unfortunately, that was your only rider in the 450C class, riding a 252 stroke from Kawasaki. He won't be able to finish this moto. Looks like the mobile medical unit has made their way over to him and giving him some assistance. Nate Wright and the 502 of Corey Keys circulating the track as well. Looks like we got a pretty serious injury on our hands in the case of Brandon Mazika. Directly following this moto, we'll have the Open 85 class, featuring none other than the 995 of McGuire Yaruski, as well as the 101 of Bryce Wage. Wage out of the Stonewall area. Local rider sponsored by FXR, always looking fresh head to toe in that brand new FXR gear. I believe he's 13 or 14 years old. Pretty slight individual, showing a lot of promise in the 85 class, as well as Ashton Halbert, who's under the tutelage and doing a lot of lessons from Corey Perrant, as Corey Keys looks for a different way around the track. Looks like he might be deciding to go around a few of the obstacles to make his way to the finish line. Interesting move from the 502. 252 stroke, recognizing that there's a few less riders on the track and not going to matter where his finish really comes down to. So taking out a few of the corners that he wasn't looking forward to and making his way back to the finish line. Giving him a big old thumbs up there for, I think that's a 2003 or 2004 Honda CR 252 stroke. Makes his way off the track, and we're going to go Open 85 racing directly following this moto. This moto brought to you by 204 Skate Shop, 2-4 Skate Shop in South Manitoba with Chris Mellon, who used to do a lot of the announcing here in Manitoba. He's not here today to relieve me of my duties, but we'll hold down the fort for him, and hopefully everyone's just running over to 204 Skate Shop and buying all the shoes that he has for sale over there in Selkirk, right in the heart of Selkirk there. You can mute it. Yaruski, your leader right off the hop, followed by the 101 of Wade. The 54 is none other than Clausen. The 115 machine out there. This is the Open 85 class. So you will see some modified 100cc bikes out there. I do believe that Wire Yaruski riding his big wheel package 85, which is a full mod bike. That thing all dialed in. Yaruski out front, he does have that big wheel package on that Super Mini. Same deal for Bryce Wage. I do believe that both of them have their selection of 2 bikes and he can ride on race day. One featuring that the two-wheel package that allows for a little bit longer wheelbase and staying up on some of these jumps a little bit better. Looks like a table set for two as McGuire Yaruski, the 995, followed by the 101. They've already got a pretty sizable gap on another Husqvarna. That is none other than Halbert. Ashton Halbert, rocking that brand new 2018 Husqvarna gear, or not Husqvarna gear, FXR. Machine, followed by the 54 of Riley Clausen. Clausen out of Selkirk, Manitoba. McGuire out of East St. Paul, and you have Wade, who's out of the Stonewall area. I think Albert actually is also out of the Oak area, really out in East St. Paul roughly. The 12 machine of Cosgrove, always on a Honda, the Cosgroves are. Spencer Diggs, I believe is out of Minnesota. This track being pretty close to the U.S. border. You see some kids that normally race the DMC series in North Dakota. Spencer Diggs out there. Out front is still your leader, wearing his 2017 flat racing gear. McGuire Yaruski. In 2 weeks' time, Yaruski will be racing at a regional. I believe both Wade and Yaruski showed up at a regional qualifier this last weekend. Neither one of them able to secure a spot at the ranch for 2018, but last year McGuire was able to get there aboard his 65. Both riders extremely talented, but you know what? When you get to those regional championship or regional qualifiers and stuff like that, you get an entire field full of kids just damn close to the same speed as these two speedsters, and it makes it a whole lot more difficult. Not to say that these guys can't get it done, but the challenge is definitely a whole lot greater when you're not just dealing with a battle of first and second. You're going as fast as you can, and you're in the middle of the pack. So both these riders looking at about 2 weeks' time to head down to in the Illinois area, I believe, to race the amateur national qualifier for Loretta Lynn's, as well as they'll both be racing this next weekend on the Sunday portion of the Rockstar Triple Crown Amateur National Series, as they look to qualify for Walton, the big amateur national championship for Canada at the end of this racing season. Ashton Halbert still holding down your third place flag, followed by the 54 of Clausen. Now jumping up into that top 6 flag, looks like Briggs wants to get Spencer Briggs all over the back of Sam Cosgrove. And Briggs is able to make the pass. Following Briggs with a pair of Hondas, the 4-strokes. Boyko and Walton getting put a lap down here as the laps continue to click down. Maybe 1 or 2 more laps left for McGuire Yaruski. He's on the gas in a huge way. The 501 machine giving way currently getting the halfway flag, so tons of racing left for these youngsters who are doing battle here in the Open 85 class. This moto scheduled for 12 minutes plus 1 lap. Yaruski continuing to air things out. Absolutely sending it out there. Same goes for Bryce Wage, who's kept McGuire honest every single lap so far this moto. Yaruski opening up a small gap, but every time he does, Wage able to match his pace and stay within swinging distance. Michael Halson also out there on the 18 machine, brand new decal kit done by the New Image. Michaela Ham, daughter of Lawrence Ham, currently using they purchased the business off of, I believe that was the Mazurek family. Starting to do graphics, so if you need numbers for your bike, call those guys up and get some numbers put on your motorcycle. Looks like Bryce Wage currently needs some numbers for his Husqvarna. Numbers or no numbers, he's twisting the throttle pretty hard. Looks like a nice line through that roller section for Wage as he pulls up on the back section of Yaruski. Their lines swap out in that last corner. I think Yaruski had a little bit more corner speed there. That's where Yaruski certainly makes up a lot of ground. Is leading the bike over in those corners. Yaruski spending some time down south at the Master Pool training facility every single year. Brand new bikes for 2018, and combined between the two bikes, I believe Yaruski already has 60 hours between his two motorcycles, riding, and about 40 hours on the bike that he's riding right now. Incredible to think that these kids have a year's worth of riding on these bikes, and this is only the second race of the year, so probably a few pistons and a few top end kits going through the Yaruski household before this season's done. Might have to call up Vertex Pistons and get a few kits on order. This Open 85 moto brought to you by Headingley Sport Shop. Headingley Sport Shop located in Headingley, Manitoba, right there on the main drag number 1 highway. Carrying both Indian and Kawasaki motorcycles, as well as some side-by-sides from Polaris, I do believe. Checkered flag is out. Yaruski taking the first moto victory here in the Open 85 class, followed by Bryce Wage. Your third place spot is Ashton Halbert on the 103 machine. Keeping him honest in the fourth space spot is the 54 of Riley Clausen. Holding down your top five, just your last spot in the top 5 is none other than Spencer Briggs on his 85 or Kawasaki rather, and your sixth place rider is Sam Cosgrove, who's pushing it right to the very end here. Seeing if you can take a look up the inside of Briggs, but it looks like Briggs is going to have it right to the checkered flag there. Checkered flag falls. We already got our ladies class out there on the track. Currently being led by Michaela Ham, followed by Vanessa Stinson. Megan Ham on the 86 machine, followed by, should be the 19 of Carrier, but she's riding a 4-stroke, the 332 4-stroke. Looks like there's some issues with the 125 2-stroke, 19 of Carrier. Rounding out your field. But here's some quick math as I count them up, and that looks like the third sister of the Rally Birdie clan there, the 814. Very windy day here in Zhoda International Raceway. You can probably tell that from the microphone feedback. Looks like Anna Lalaberty making her move, sliding into that number 1 position, just ahead of Michaela Ham on the 87 machine. Rounding out your top 3 is Eve Lalaberty. Stinson holding down the 4th place spot, followed by the aluminum frame Honda 250 or 125 2-stroke. I believe that's maybe even be a 144 kit. The full mod bike underneath Megan Ham, the 86 machine. Directly following her should be the 19, but it's the 323 of Carrier. Lalaberty holding down your number 1 ride in the ladies class, currently being challenged by Michaela Ham. Up over top of that giant anthill. A couple of large rollers going into a few of the corners here in Zhoda, keeping people on their toes. Ham not able to make the pass there, but continuing to take a look. Both riders taking similar lines. Lalaberty currently sitting in the 3rd place spot, followed by Vanessa Stinson out of Treeherne, Manitoba on the 714. 714 followed by the 86 and the 23 of Carrier. The youngest of the Lalaberty sisters, Nadia, I believe, is currently sitting in the 6th place spot. They'd throw a blanket over 1st and 2nd as it's a table set for 2. Anna Lalaberty and Michaela Ham set to do battle here. White numbers on blue plates. She puts herself in the 3rd place spot. Eve Lalaberty now under fire from not only getting passed by Vanessa Stinson, who now holds down the number 3 ride, but Megan Ham trying to make a move on the 86 machine. Ham should be familiar with the track, both her and Stinson riding yesterday. I don't believe I saw the Lalibirdies out yesterday, so a little bit less track time for them. See if that plays into a factor as the lap ticks down here. Your leader on the 364 machine, Eve Lalibirdi, followed by Michaela Ham on her Honda 85cc big wheel package. Actually could be a 100, actually, if you think about it. Good chance there's a KX100 underneath Vanessa Stinson out of Freeman, Manitoba. Currently sitting in the third place ride. A lonely race for her right now. She's made the pass on Eve Lalibirdi. Looks like your leaders are a little bit too far ahead for her to do something about that, but a solid ride for third right now. Stinson currently sitting third in points. She went 3-4 in the last race in Altona, currently sitting in the third place spot, giving herself a great opportunity at a podium today. Of course, we do these as a two-moto format. Manitoba Motocross and all motocross events are two motos, which is originally from the old motocross GP Grand Prix circuit from the 70s, where when bikes were so unreliable for fans to see their favorite rider racing at all, they would have to do a two-moto format to ensure that the fans would get what they paid for and see their favorite rider do their thing. Dating back to the years of Roger DeCoster and George Zhoda, stuff like that. Their bikes weren't as reliable as they are today, so that's why we have our two-moto format. For your finishes, you accrue points throughout the day, and they add those points up after the two motos to figure out who's got that overall that you look forward to so much. Looks like Megan Ham must have had an issue at some point as she finds herself well back of where she was originally at. Currently relinquished the fifth place spot, finds herself in sixth behind Carrier. After easily winning a ladies' championship back in 2015-16, Carrier moving up to the big bikes, if not last year, the year before, I believe. Still a tight battle for the lead here, and one lap to go for Anna Lalibirdi. Hot on her heels is Michaela Ham, the 87 machine. Battling tooth and nail early in this one and continuously, as Vanessa Stinson certainly holding down the third place spot, but now Eve Lalibirdi making her own effort to make a pass on the last lap here. And Anna Lalibirdi, who have led from the very beginning. Ham with a great start, wasn't able to hold on to it, relinquished the lead after one lap, and it's been Lalibirdi from there on. Ham keeping her honest though. The 87 machine, brought to you by Ham Suspension Service, FXR, and The New Image, a graphic company that she actually operates basically on her own. She gets a lot of help from Dad, I imagine. but certainly does her best to make graphics, and she does a great job at that. Won't be able to take the first place ride. She'll take second on this moto, but a great ride from Michaela Ham and Anna Laliberte. Laliberte taking the win. Tight battle developing for the third place spot as Stinson now has a rearview mirror full of Eve Laliberte on the 254 machine. Eve making a last lap push here. Stinson able to hold on to it aboard her KX100. Looks like we're about to go racing again. Gate will drop very shortly. For the open A class, 250s, 450s, you name it, everything you can think of under the sun in the open class, and the A class lets you know these are the fastest guys in Manitoba. Quite actually a pretty big group of guys as well. She didn't see Brian Clausen in the first 450A moto. That was curious. Might see him in this moto as a full gate of the A riders scream towards that first corner. Looks like a Kawasaki out front. Very well could be Bremer's. It was Bremer's, but now Ryan Miller taking your lead. Followed by Brady Bremer's and Bremer. Behind Bremer there is the number 2 of Brian Clausen. All the boys start to file through. A couple of Trans-Canada Kawasaki's doing battle for 5th and 6th. Looks like the 777 machine of Marcus Burrows holding down the 7th place ride. Travis Mossett finding himself in 5th place, followed by Trans-Canada Suzuki of Jimmy Cornelissen. A great start for Darcy Clausen as he gets passed by Brady Love there, the 444 machine out of Kenora, Manitoba, or Kenora, Ontario rather. You've got the 78 machine of Devin Weeb. Unfortunate corner there for Darcy Clausen as he goes down in the early stages of this one. Relinquishes a few positions, still holds down a spot just ahead. Another rider on a KTM will pull a number off of that bike. I believe that's the 74. Pretty big class of A riders here. Bremer sitting in 2nd place, followed by Jordan Niniska. Niniska's ahead of Clausen. Cornelissen. First ride on the 450 for Josh Penner. Adam Orvis, Tyler Penner, Darcy Clausen, and the 74. Not on my list. And Chase Fardeau out of Brandon, Manitoba on the 453. I believe that's a 250F. A familiar spot for Ryan Miller. The 501 machine has led a lot of laps here in Manitoba over the years. Not too sure how familiar he is with Zhoda International Raceway, but currently leading. Doing quite well. I wouldn't say a sand specialist, but definitely a guy that likes to let the bike kind of dance underneath him. Does a lot of standing as he's a tall rider. Ryan Millar out of Miami, Manitoba. Racing pro for, I believe this is his 12th season in the pro class. Originally turning pro back in 2006 with the Aldo Shoes KTM team. I don't know if it was still Aldo Shoes back then, but it's definitely Royal Distributing and Thor back then. I believe his first number as a pro was 46 or maybe 48 as a national number. Racing his first year racing actually as an intermediate, but still doing quite well. The number 501, racing with the number 50 as on the smallest bikes when he was a youngster on 80s, and then put a 1 on there when he went to the big bikes. Dressed up in that brand new FXR gear. Currently holding down the third and second place spot is Niniski out of Kenora, Manitoba. His first Manitoba Motocross event. Never been here, but does own a sand track back home, so definitely used to the friendly confines of a sand track. Using those skills to his advantage on the 250F. Sandwiched between a couple of 450s out there. Miller making it look easy out there, leaning that bike over. He's got a small gap right now over Niniski. About the same gap back to Josh Firmer. Aaron Firmer not in attendance for this race. The 634 electing not to participate today, but miss having that guy out there. Lots of style on the older of the Firmer brothers, but good to see the younger Firmer. Josh out here twisting the throttle, getting the loud handle operating today. Out of Melina, Manitoba, that's the Prove It machine of Brady Breemers, followed by Brian Clausen aboard his 250F. Brady Love, same thing on the 250F, followed by Jimmy Cornelissen. Cornelissen is followed by Marcus Burrows on the 777. Travis Mossett, followed by Devin Weeb. Josh Penner aboard his 450 is followed by the 996 of Cameron Burney. Tyler Penner out there aboard his 250F. Mired in the back of the pack right now. Actually won a 250A moto last race rather, 2 weeks ago when we were in Altona. Probably fancies himself more of a hard pack guy, being from the Morden Winkler area. Got a lot of hard pack out there, and that's where he probably feels most comfortable. Ryan Miller still leading a sizable gap over Niniski, who's comfortable in second place, his first A-ride here in Manitoba. Currently leading Josh Firmer. Firmer dressed head to toe in the latest and greatest FXR gear. Brady Love looking to fend off Jimmy Cornelissen aboard the 450. Sitting in the third place spot, or fifth place spot rather, is Brian Clausen on the number 2. A few seconds adrift from him is Marcus Burrows, followed by the 192 of Travis Mossett and the 78 of Devin Weeb. Rounding out your top 10 right now is Josh Penner on the 409, followed by Darcy Clausen out of Selkirk, Manitoba. Josh Penner's younger brother Tyler the 23 machine aboard his 250F, currently sitting in about 13th position. Great to see a pretty big group of A-class riders. You don't usually see this many A riders on the track at once. Looks like almost 20 of them actually. $18 A riders, so not exactly a full gate, but about a half gate of the A riders. Not something you see too often, and of course would have loved to see Troy Rivette mixed in there as well. The 63 machine of Troy Rivette, often trying his hand at the A class. 33 years old, but still able to get the job done in the A class. Few laps left for the Open A class. Directly following this moto, we'll have the Vet Master and Vet Junior classes. So you've got to be 30 or above to ride in that class. And Vet Master, if you've raced pro before or intermediate back in the day, you're a Vet Master. And if you have not raced in the pro or any intermediate classes, so if you never raced A before, you're in the Vet Junior division. And if you're over 30. Bit of an off-track excursion for the 444 machine of Brady Love. Still out front is dressed head to toe in FXR gear. He's got FXR graphics. Most likely very well sponsored by FXR is Ryan Miller. The 501 machine has a sizable lead over Josh Firmer, who now holds down the second place spot. Relinquishing that spot was the 163 Niniska. Sitting in the fourth place spot, the sand specialist himself, Brady Breemers, followed by the 17 of Jimmy Cornelison. Cornelison is followed by Brady Love aboard his Kawasaki. A couple of 250Fs doing battle inside the middle of the open class top 10. Marcus Burrows currently holding down about the 7th place spot, followed by Travis Mossat and Devin Weeb. Josh Penner, first day on racing the 450 bike. Looks like that thing might be taking a little bit out of him, as his younger brother on the 250F is starting to catch him a little bit. Looks like maybe some arm pump for Josh, as that's a lot of motorcycle to throw around for 16 minutes plus a lap. They're just now on the last lap, as Ryan Miller on his final approach or final voyage around this beautiful Zhoda International Raceway. Looking like a totally different level of riding out there. Ryan Miller, the 501 machine, absolutely slaying it out there. He's got a huge lead over Josh Firmer. Decent ride from Firmer. This already the second moto for these A-class riders in the 450 class. They were the first moto of the day. Of these 250 guys coming out here for the first time. Long day of motos being out here. Looks like Devin Weeb also falling into the clutches of Tyler Penner. The kid's got great fitness. He keeps going and going and going. He'll get that speed up over the next couple of years, and he'll be a threat to win motos in this class aboard any bike. The checkered flag is out. And it's Ryan Miller taking the lead. He wins the moto over Josh Firmer as well as Naniska. Vet Master, Vet Junior, your next moto coming up. Jess Cockrell, Leon Demarais, Calvin Kotowich, Jerry Davis, Chris Dorkson, Jordan Urick, Jeff Morgan, Nate Wright, Jeremy Fraze, Corey Keys, Daniel Schaefer, Kyle Litwin, Albert Fair, Dennis Perfanic, Troy Rivette, Kevin Cozy, Earl Reimer, look for him to have a great race. Ryan Douglas out of Morden, or maybe Winkler. Shane Langdale, former national champion, Shane Langdale in the 125 class. Jumpin' Jim Fredrickson out of Brandon, Manitoba. Brian Van Dorp, Corey Perrant, and the owner of Prairie Hill MX himself, Kyle McCannell. Not bad of yourself. The wind could die down, but otherwise. But now I'm just nitpicking. Heaven forbid it not be perfect for me, right? That's right. It's all about gas mileage on the way home. Keep the wind around. Just finishing up the moto there with Bernie on board his two-stroke, completing that last lap. We're gonna flip that card sideways as the head referee, Roger Lavoie, heading over the first corner there to signify the start of the next moto. Vet Master, Vet Junior. This will be a combined two starts for this one. Look for a great start from Shane Langdale. He's already grabbed himself a whole shot today and a second place ride in the first moto, with Earl Reimer getting the best of him in that one. They'll get an opportunity to race again. But I have a feeling that Dennis Perfanic and Troy Rivette are going to have something to say about that in the Vet Master class. And of course, your points leader in this class is Corey Perrant, who took both moto victories last week, I do believe. Or at least is in the points lead for this particular race. Perrant always doing well in the harder packed tracks, but this track being a little bit the opposite of that. Still a bit of a hard base, but the soil moves a ton out there. Panning across the field to make sure everyone's good to go. Earl Reimer, Ryan Douglas, Shane Langdale, Jumpin' Jim Fredrickson, Corey Perrant, and Kyle McCannell all about to do battle here in Zhoda International Raceway. This moto brought to you by Ham Suspension Services, taught by longtime Honda top tech at Honda HRC, Shane Drew. You've got Lawrence Ham, who's now doing some suspension work out of his home. Very cool. As Corey Perrant with a great start. the red plates. He's got the start that he was looking for. Shane Langdale currently holding down the second place spot, just ahead of Dennis Profanik. Around the outside goes Jumpin' Jim Frederickson on the 120 machine, followed by the 100 of Earl Reimer. Reimer in the 4th place spot. See how the rest of them start to fare through. Gate has dropped, and another great start for Leon Demarais, followed by the 807 of Schaefer, and Schaefer now moving himself into the lead. The 502 of Corey Keys with a great start as well. Aboard 1983 YZ125 with a very leaky shock right now. Sitting in the 4th place spot is Chris Dorkson. Dorkson having a great start. He's got a rear view mirror full of Calvin Kotowicz right now. Kotowicz looking to make a move. Kotowicz getting stuck on the outside of that corner, not able to make the move, relinquishes a position to the 110 of Urich. All the riders starting to file through now, as Perrant looking to take the first moto lead, leading the first lap on this one. Got a small lead over the 2nd place rider, which is Jumpin' Jim Frederickson, the 120 machine out of Brandon, Manitoba. Perrant, originally sole proprietor of Custom Rad here in Winnipeg, now works for FXR. Earl the Squirrel Reimer are currently sitting in the 3rd place spot, just ahead of Shane Langdale, currently sitting in the 4th place spot ahead of Dennis Profanik. The 74 machine of Kevin Cozy, followed by the 816 of Kyle McCannell. Brian Van Dorp filing through, as well as Ryan Douglas. Daniel Schaefer still your leader in the Vet Master or Vet Junior division. Not know that Schaefer was 30 years old already. Leon Demarais sitting in 2nd place, followed by Corey Keys and Jordan Urich. Gary Davis out there as well, trying to chase down Calvin Kotowicz and the rest of the Vet Junior division. Still holding down your number 1 ride is Corey Perrant on the 256 machine. Hot on his heels is the 120 of Jim Frederickson. Both riders, long time pro riders here in Manitoba. One guy that's been pro longer than everybody else, going back to, I believe, 1987, is Earl Reimer, currently sitting in the 3rd place spot, and your 1994 or 93, I don't remember, I have to ask him what year it was, 125 national champion, CMA title, Shane Langdale on the 117 machine. He's got a sizable gap over the 37 machine of Dennis Profanik. Van Dorp's got a bit of a lead over Ryan Douglas. Looks like the Vet Junior class is actually starting to catch the back half of the Vet Master class, showing that they've got some serious speed. Daniel Schaefer continues to lead there, followed by Leon Demarais. Much better moto for Corey Keys, who sits in the third place spot, standing up everywhere on his two-stroke, followed by Jordan Urich. Urich is followed by Calvin Kotowicz. Looks like Jeff Morgan on board his Honda. Rounding out your top 5 in the junior division. Now a battle for the lead. On the outside is Jumpin' Jim Fredrickson, and he makes the pass stick. We'll see if he's able to hold on to that lead. The 120 machine aboard his Kawasaki switches his lineup. They go to this split section here. Looks like a better line from Fredrickson as he develops a tiny bit of a lead over Corey Perrant after establishing the lead earlier in this lap. That's a 250F that Fredrickson is currently on, showing that horsepower not the game in motocross, although getting that power to the ground and twisting the loud handle. Only a couple of laps left in this one. Earl Reimer holding down the third place spot, not too far ahead of the 117 machine of Langdale. Bit of a scary moment there for the 502 of Keys as he's falling back into the grips here of Calvin Kotowicz a little bit. I'm sure the two of them were wishing this was the last lap flag. No such luck. We're going to have at least one more lap here. Still holding that third place in the junior division is Corey Keys, followed by Calvin Kotowicz. We got somebody down the back section of the track on our sixth flagger stall. That's been a problem for a couple of riders. See if that's affecting the running order whatsoever. Riding in first and second all motor long, Daniel Schaefer and Leon Demarais. Pulling down the first and second place ride. They've got a sizable gap over Keys. Keys now in third, I do believe, as Jordan Urich on the 110 machine holds down the third place spot. Great ride from him. He's been at this for quite some time now. Last lap flag is now out for Jim Fredrickson. For a few of these vet junior guys down by a lap, which I'm sure a few of them are pretty happy about, as an end to the suffering a little bit. Not to say that they're out of shape, but heading around this track for a long moto is certainly taxing, and if something can come along to make it just a little bit shorter on you, you definitely welcome that. especially if you're not going to lose a position in the process. In the Vet Master Division is still Jumpin' Jim Fredrickson. Fredrickson Performance Services business out in Fredrickson Sport Performance Center, which is a personal training facility that Derek Donald and many of the other Manitoba Motocross racers from Brandon enjoy. I think he also does a lot of work with the Brandon Wheat Kings hockey organization, so obviously a great place to have some top flight hockey athletes. As he takes that final corner towards the finish line, and he will be your moto victor. Still holding the points lead for the day though, or in this championship, is Corey Perron. Always takes home that second place spot. Good to see Corey Keys race all the way to the checkered flag there, as he was able to go right to the checkered flag and give Jordan Urich a look right down to the checkered flag there. The moto complete for the A class, or the Masters class, not for that junior class, however, as I do not see Daniel Schaefer right near Leon Desmarais. So either he's opened up a huge gap, or he's or Desmarais is your new leader in the junior class. Keep our eyes out for the 807 machine. The next class that we're going to see up, let's see who we got next. Open B class, so 250s and 450s in this class. This next class coming up. A little bit less speed, ability, and coordination as the A class, but still fast in their own right. One day will most likely be A riders with a little bit more speed and coordination. Oh my god. Mute. Neil Newfield, Damian Rogers, and the rest of the Open B class out on the track now. Looks like Jeremy Patterson with a great start. Excellent start from Jordan Gledhill. Your leader is Jordan Gledhill, followed by Jeremy Patterson and the 2:14 of Riley Katazinski. Rylan Katazinski aboard his two-stroke, sitting in the third place spot. The 5.56. Your winner in the 450 B division is Ethan Spagrid. It's like the 441 machine of Dane Rogers. Rounding out your top 5, meaning that there's 4 two-strokes in the top 5. Patterson aboard the 4-stroke Suzuki. Everything else in the top 5 is a 2-stroke. Pretty cool to see that. The 114 on the move in a big way. That's Simon Briggs. I believe he's out of North Dakota as well. Against 250, Jordan Gledhill sitting in the number 1 ride. He's got company though. Rylan Katazinski coming through. Now moving up into the 4th place ride is Ethan Spagrid. Spagrid has a rear view mirror though full of Simon Briggs on the 114 machine wearing the all black gear. All white helmet, all white bike, just outside your top 5. That's none other than the 264 of Jake Parnell. Behind Dane Rogers. Katazinski. The open class currently being led by the bike that for sure does not have the most horsepower out there. Proving yet again, motocross not a game of horsepower. It's all about twisting that throttle, getting up front, kid looking good, just brand new pop here. Spagrid, and now Briggs making a challenge for the 4th place spot. You got Parnell rounding out your top 6, followed by Dane Rogers. Nolan Martin's also out there. You got the 27 machine of Ryan Kokoruts. Trenton Hebert, Nick Friesen, John Lee, and the rest all file through. Katazinski now opening up a huge lead. The 214 machine aboard his Kate Husqvarna 150, absolutely gone right now. Got about a 2 straightaway lead after taking the lead away from Jordan Gledhill. Gledhill aboard his Yamaha sitting in second. Now Briggs, who's been moving up after a so-so start, now finds himself in the 3rd place spot. Dane Rogers on the 41 machine, moving up in positions on his 125 Yamaha. Yamaha 125 versus 150, a battle for 2nd place now. There's a pair of 252 strokes battle it out for 3rd spot. Oh, Parnell going down in the sand section there. The deeper sand getting the better of Parnell. Of course, Parnell born in the sand. He was boasting earlier this week that he was going to have a great race, given the fact that he spends a lot of time in the loose soil. But right now, not riding to his potential, I don't think. Just outside the top 5. Bit of a swap there from Ryan Kokoritz, who goes down. No worse for wear. He's able to get back into the race immediately. Alex Penner doing battle out there as well. Amazing to see the 2 strokes doing battle. Still Gledhill out front, or maybe that's not true. Yes, the 114 machine of Simon Briggs has put his Yamaha 125 into the 2nd place spot. So your Open B moto is actually currently led by a 150 followed by a 125. Look at Briggs out there just jumping all that stuff out there. Making it look easy. Got great fitness. Jordan Gledhill holding down the 3rd place ride, but looking to make a move now. Ethan Spagrid, the 556. To remounting and getting back in the race. Parnell struggling to get back to where he was, battling for a top 4 spot. Katazinski's all but sewn this one up. Great start from Jeremy Patterson. Must have gone down somewhere as he's fighting his way through the field once more. The 179 machine out there. That's Riley Patterson. Well, that was Jeremy. Dane Rogers now doing battle with Jake Parnell. 125 versus 250. Couple of two-strokes battling it out. Looks like Parnell's going to get the line there. That he does, and is able to continue on. Trying to pick off a couple more riders before this moto's finished. Maybe 2 laps to go for Parnell and the rest of the Open B class following this moto of the schoolboy class. It's all 125s mostly, I do believe. Declan Cosgrove, Ricky Fredrickson, Ricky Balkan, Zach Plaster, Brady McLeod, Andrew Weeb, Brandon Millard, Nick Osnatch, and Riley Smith. Moto's here from Zhoda International Raceway. This moto is brought to you by FXR Adrenaline, located on Sterling Lion Parkway. If you're needing a new set of motocross gear, you need some suspension work, you can dial those guys up. Great supporter of Manitoba Motocross. White flag is out for your leaders. Briggs now a sizable lead over Gledhill. Rylan Kanazinski, a sizable gap over everybody, including your second place rider, Simon Briggs. Briggs is followed by Gledhill, who's followed by Ethan Spaggart, now trying to make a move to the fourth place spot back to where he was when he went down, is the 264 of Jake Parnell. He's able to make that pass. The rider he's passing doesn't have the proper numbers on his bike. It says 365 or 536. Which is not on my list. Checkered flag is out. And it's Rylan Katazinski here in the Open B division with your first moto winner. He's followed by Simon Briggs. Briggs is followed by Gledhill. Gledhill is just ahead of Ethan Spaggart. A tight battle and a crash on the last corner. Second last corner from rider behind Parnell. That rider won't lose any positions, but a valiant effort to try and get that top 5 spot. Schoolboy class out there now, and it's Cosgrove with a great start, the 51 machine, followed by Balkan, and McLeod as well as the 77th of Blaster. Blaster is followed by the 115/256 of Brendan Millard. Millard getting a little bit of a graphic sponsor from Corey Perrant yesterday. Perrant pulling the black numbers with the white backgrounds off the bike to give way to the red plates, but found good use for those graphics, and that became the back two number plates, the side panels for Millard, who normally runs number 115. He's doing so on the front number plate, but those back number plates are brought to you by FXR as well as Corey Perrant. Gotta love the sound of all those two-strokes out there. 125 two-strokes, I believe I hear one 250F four-stroke ruining the party. Looks like that might have been the 51 of Cosgrove, as it was. Declan Cosgrove going down. The last corners into the back section there, puts the bike down, no words for where he's able to continue. There's Ricky Balkin out front, followed by Brady McLeod. Not helping me out whatsoever as far as the numbers on his bike, because they're black, the blue numbers on black, is Nicky Osnatch. Osnatch on the 313. Osnatch is followed by Zach Plaster on the 77 and Brandon Millard on the 150. The 105 machine is at Andrew Weeb on the lone four-stroke out there. Wind absolutely insane here. Sorry about a little bit of feedback as both microphones and my clipboard going by. One rider going down in the sand. Same corner that Cosgrove had his issues with. Ricky Balkin still your leader, followed by Osnatch. Yamaha 125 two-stroke sitting out front, looking good so far. Ricky Balkin. Osnatch on his Husqvarna, sitting in the second place spot, followed by Brady McLeod on his 125 two-stroke. Top three have a sizable lead over Declan Cosgrove on the 51 machine. Doing battle now, the Riley Smith on the 519 and Brendan Millard on the 256/115 machine. Like I said, Corey Perrant supplying the back number plates on that bike. So excellent sponsorship there. That was kind of a spur of the moment thing, kind of cool. Pretty decent battle right now as Osnatch has pulled right up on the back section of Ricky Balkin. Those two set to do battle. Balkin the better line through that corner. Osnatch loses a little bit of time. It looks like he's got a couple other sections of the track where he might be better. Osnatch getting some trackside encouragement there as he hunts down the lead. Ricky Balkin looking good with that brand new Good One graphic kit aboard his Yamaha 125. One rider I do not see out there is Ricky Fredrickson. I don't know if he's escaping me somehow. Oh no, he's on a Yamaha 125 two-stroke. So he's doing battle with Zach Plaster there. Plaster on the 150. Fredrickson on the 125. Andrew Weeb on the 105 250F, the only four-stroke in the class. As Osnatch now has the lead, he's made up some ground and made the move on Ricky Balkin. Balkin now sits in second place. See if he can retaliate and make something happen here. Looks like Osnatch might have some better lines out there though. Couple more laps to go for the Manitoba Schoolboy 12 to 18 class. So all these riders under the age of 18 years old, or maybe just at 18 years old. Kind of a stepping stone class from the little 85s to the big bike class. Brady McLeod, a lonely race in third place right now. He's got Declan Cosgrove about 10 seconds behind him, and he's currently a few seconds behind Ricky Balkin, who just went down hard. Swapping, it looks like he's under the motorcycle. Hopefully he's all right and not any worse for wear underneath the motorcycle there. Head referee Mark Babcock going over there trying to see what we can do about the situation there. Hope Ricky's okay. A big crash from Ricky Balkin. That puts Osnatch in a sizable lead. He's absolutely covered now. Cloud now inherits the second place spot, giving third to Cosgrove. Cosgrove is followed by Brandon Millard and Riley Smith round out your top five, followed by Plaster and the 14 machine of Ricky Fredrickson, who I think is the youngest rider in the class. One lap to go for Osnatch, as he's probably completely unaware of the situation with Ricky Balkin. Osnatch was already ahead of Ricky when he went down, so he's unaware that his competitor was behind him whatsoever. It looks like Balkin's up though. Could be mistaken, but I think that is him up and looking to complete this race. Yeah, the 53 machine is back up and circulating the track, so obviously the bike's okay, he's okay. Gonna try and finish this lap. He'll end up being the last guy on track unless he smartly lets Osnatch go by. Osnatch might get him regardless of Ricky's game plan here. Looks like Zach Blaster losing the visor off of his Fox helmet. Those magnetic Fox visors have been known to blow off from time to time. There's pretty high strength magnets, but they do let go every once in a while. He'll be hunting around the track to find that visor at some point, I imagine. Vulcan, smartly, as I'd mentioned, tucks it behind Osnatch, and he'll save himself a little bit of hassle going around the track one more lap. Finishes off the moto at the back of the pack, but a great ride from him, and hopefully he's no worse for wear than that track. Your next moto, the 65cc 7 to 9 and the 10 to 11 class coming up next. .65cc class out right now. The 41 machine of Carver Friesen out front early, followed by the 24 machine of Grayson Drummond. Bailey Urbanski sitting in the third place spot. All the riders filing through now. You got the 21 of Aiden Demarais. The 7 machine goes down. Young rider having their issues there. Adrian Demarais, Ethan Douglas, Jeff Sutherland, and Lyndon Urbanski out there as well. So you have Bailey Urbanski on the 65, as well as Lyndon Urbanski. Quite close in age, I imagine. Probably about 3 years between the two of them. Brother and sister racing motocross here in Manitoba. Great to see. Like the Urbanskis, good people. I think this track is challenging on a big bike. Imagine having little wheels and getting caught in these big holes. Definitely make things more difficult for these riders, but they're getting their way through as Urbanski taking a look and possibly make her move to the second place spot. Still your leader, the 41 machine of Carver Friesen, as Mom's getting a big thumbs up. Got the team gear on. Also riding in the 7 to 11, or the I think it's the 7 to 11 class in the 85 division. So he's familiar with the 85s as well as the 65. So he's got a bit of a tweener, probably a little bit small on the 60 or on the 85, and a little bit too big for the 65. But either way, making it work. Bailey Urbanski, about 11 years old. Often winning a lot of little ladies motos, racing in this class aboard her 65. Probably her last summer aboard that machine, as she's also on a Yamaha 85. Ryan Lee out there on the 131 machine, making his way through that very difficult section. Trying to hunt down a fellow KTM combatant. We've got the 94 machine of Lyndon Urbanski. I believe he's currently leading in the 7 to 9 class on the number 94. Might be number 94 because his favorite riders, maybe Ken Roxon or something like that. Probably the case. Friesen still making it look easy out there. He's got a sizable lead. Making his way around the track, the 41 machine. I believe this is a bit of a home race. Doesn't live too far away, I don't think. Not far from Grunthal, I don't think, no. Grunthal being his home track, but no stranger to the softer soils out here. The 41 machine of Carver Friesen out front and looking good. Grayson Drummond, the number 24 machine, looking great out there aboard him, followed by Bailey Urbanski. Urbanski holding down the third place spot. The 131 of Ryan Lee having himself a great ride. I think he's in fourth place right now. Fans lining the fences here. We're cheering on the 65 class. Open C class followed by the 250A class coming up next. Thank you. Oh yeah? Thank you.
Because I was on a break. What's going on?
Yeah, kid's looking good out there, by the way. No cast on your arm definitely helps the speed. What a kid. Last lap flag is out for Carver Friesen. He's led from the very beginning. Leading every lap here in the 65 class. His third or fourth year racing in Manitoba. 65cc 7 to 9 and 10 to 11 classes out there on the track right now. Lyndon Orbanski leading in the 7 to 9 class, and Carver Friesen holding down your number 1 spot in the 10 to 11. Aaron Walton out there on the 121 machine, having himself an excellent moto, laying down those lap times, trying to see if he can better himself from last weekend's performance. Excellent to see him out there, young rider with a ton of skill and ability, getting better every single weekend. Carver Friesen working his way through some lap traffic on his way to the number 1 spot. Some riders will get the checkered flag here. Some of them will get Carver with the big jump at the finish line there. He grabs that number 1 ride, and excellent ride from him. Be very successful throughout this season, no doubt, in the 65 class. We'll let the rest of the kids finish up their lap here. Machine, or no, that's the 89 machine of James Dahlman on his Kawasaki out there. We also have Grant Price, who I believe Grant Price, no wait, that's, never mind. That's a different class. What am I looking at? 65 class. Number 89 is Jet Sutherland out there. Decent ride from him aboard his KTM, or his Kawasaki actually. Jet Sutherland electing to ride the slightly out of date Kawasaki 65 that was last updated in 2001. Yeah. Not even sure if my camera girl was alive in 2001, most likely not. This next moto, 12 minutes plus 1 lap, the Open C class. Bryce Fair, Brandon Kokoruds, James Dahlman. Your moto winner from last weekend, Nathan Williamson. Logan Krapaloo. Tyler Hychuk. Grant Price. Rick Penner. Leonardo Friesen. Devin Wall. Sean Banman. Eve Laliberty. Bradley Day Smith. Jordan McNally and Nadia Laliberty as well. So you got 2 Laliberty sisters in this next Open C class moto. The gate is down and screaming towards the first corner there is the Open C class. We'll see who gets that Epic Saw Racing whole shot. The Honda, I do believe that might be Grant Price. It is not Grant Price. But Kokoruds now into the lead. Followed by the 111 of Rychuk. Garoppolo and the rest file through here. Open C-Class, 450s, 250s, you name it. And some riders that are still learning, some riders that are still improving their skills within the sport of motocross. That's why it's the C-Class. Nathan Williamson currently sitting in the second place spot after a so-so start, looking to move himself into a leading position. He won both motos in convincing fashion last weekend. Reds is your leader, followed by Williamson. I believe that's Sean Banman on the Husqvarna. Try and grab a number off of that bike as it goes by. So it's Coco Reds followed by Williamson, and it is Sean Banman. Hrychuk in fourth place, only a front number plate on that next bike. Grant Price, and then is followed by Bryce Fair. The 110 of Garoppolo. The rest of the riders filing through here. Open C-Class, the 216 of Leonardo Friesen, as well as the 553 of Bradley Smith, or DeSmit. Now moving himself into a familiar spot, into the lead. Nathan Williamson aboard his number 101 Yamaha 250 two-stroke. Brandon Coconuts holding down the third place spot, followed by Sean Banman. Kawasaki in the fifth place spot. Looks like Grant Price has lost a couple of positions out there. Honda with only front number plate might very well be Rick Penner. Fairly certain of that. I'd really encourage him to get side number plates so he can help me out a little bit. Bandman holding down the third place spot. Of Hrychuk. Not far behind Hrychuk is that 197 machine of Penner's followed by Garoppolo and Bryce Fair. Giving up many positions in that last lap was Grant Price on the 189 machine. A few seconds adrift from the 189 is your first moto winner from the ladies moto is it's Eve Lalaberty. Or wait, Eve got third in that moto. Never mind. Laps continue to click off. So there's Rick Penner there on the 197. So maybe it's not him in like 4th on the Honda. That could be James Dahlman, 89 on that Honda. The 217 of Devin Wall out there. Still way out front is Nathan Williamson. Now a battle for second has broken out, as Kokoradze now has a rearview mirror full of Bandman. I do believe that is the 89 of James Dahlman on his Honda. Shift riding gear. Word to the wise, James, you might want to get side number plates. Help out your announcer a little bit. Williamson still your leader. Following this moto, 250A class. Followed by the 85cc. 7 to 11 and 12 and 16 classes. 250A, 250B. And that'll be it for your motos this morning. That'll be the morning program here from Zhoda International Raceway. Open C-Class out there on the track right now. You've got Nathan Williamson holding down your number one ride, followed by James Dahlman. Dahlman aboard his Honda. Direction looks like Sean Bandman found his way into the number two ride aboard his Husqvarna 250F. One lap to go here in the Open C-Class here in Manitoba. One lap to go here in Manitoba for the Open C-Class. 252 strokes, 254 strokes, 454 strokes, 125s. Heck, even if you had a 500, you could race it in this class. Wide open. They're being led by a 252 stroke, who's put a couple of riders a lap down. Rick Penner there going a lap down. Now in your second place spot, who has put a move on Ryan Kokoradze. who now finds himself in the 4th place spot. Sean Bandman. Tyler Hrychuk on the 111. He's currently in your 3rd place spot. Kroplu, who actually had a terrible start on the 110 machine, fighting his way back inside the top 5. So not the start he was looking for from Kroplu, but his end finish is looking to be for sure in the top 5. So a much better finish to his moto. He's got the line on the inside of this split corner. Looks like he's going to have the advantage too. Tight battle there as Brandon Kokoritz did not want to give up that position, and he goes down hard in the process. Swaps a little bit coming off that jump, and Kokoritz is going to have to pick up the pieces. He wants to complete this moto in the top 5 position. The ladies from the Moto Medical unit come over to see if he's okay. Upon seeing them, he probably wishes he wasn't okay, but nevertheless, he's going to finish off this moto and get himself out of that hole. Kokoritz re-entering the track, a little bit upset with himself, I imagine, relinquishing that position late in this moto. 1 lap to go in this one. Kokoritz finishing this moto strong after a get off here in the last lap of the Open C class. Waiting for a few more riders to complete their moto here, and we'll head off to the 85cc. No, it's a 250A class. So the fastest 250 riders in the province will take to the beautiful confines of Zhoda International Raceway, directly following this moto. Brian Clausen, Travis Clausen, Jimmy Cornelison, Tyler Penner, Kevin Cozy, Devin Weeb, Jim Fredrickson, Jonathan Naniska, Travis Mossett, Adam Orvis, Josh Firmer, Brady Love, and Chase Fardeau make up your field in the 250A class. A-class riding, go A-class racing in just a few moments' time. All of the C-class riders have exited the track prior to letting the big boys go out there and rip things up. Card sideways, revs up, gate down. Looked like a great start from Firmer. That's actually the friendly number 2 of Brian Clausen out front. He's followed by Adam Orvis. A great start from Orvis. Firmer also with a really good start, finds his way into the number 3 ride, followed by Jonathan Naniska. All the good riders starting to file through now. Couple of riders trying to make quick work of Adam Orvis, who got a great start aboard his Yamaha. Devin Weeb having himself a good ride. He's in 4th place. The 120 of jumping Jim Fredrickson finds himself just on the outside of the top 5. still wants a piece. No, the 444 machine making his way to the front of the pack. Let's try to find out where Jimmy Cornelius ended up. Plenty of talent in this one. Your new leader aboard the Kawasaki, Jonathan Daniska out of Kenora, Manitoba, has a sand track at home and he's showing those skills right now. That?
Kenora, Ontario.
Kenora, Ontario, yeah. My mistake. Kenora, Ontario. It's come a long way to be here, about 2.5 hour drive. Daniska currently leading. Got a couple of bike lengths over Josh Firmer. Sitting in the third place spot is Brian Clausen after leading very early in this moto. Fourth place being held down by Jimmy Fredrickson. Devin Weeb in the fourth place spot, looking to make the lines work out in his favor. He comes around the outside, isn't able to get the drive, but they'll come over that crest neck and neck. The 3-pack of Kawasaki's in 4th, 5th, and 6th. The 444 of Brady Love pulling up the rear of that current group. Looking to make a move on Devin Weeb. Devin's got the drive coming out of that one corner, but Love definitely has the line coming into this next one. Throw a blanket over those 3 guys. Lines switch up, and Love to the inside, see if he can pinch him off. Unable to do so. Amazing how the line selection is so important here in Zhoda. You can find yourself on the outside looking in if you pick the wrong lap or the wrong line through one of these very tricky sections. This 3-pack of Kawasaki's has actually picked up a 4th with Jimmy Cornelius reeling these guys in as those 3 Kawasaki's kind of battling with each other have actually slowed themselves down a little bit, allowing Cornelius to get into the mix, and he's able to pass both Brady Love and Devin Weeb. Now setting his sights on Jim Fredrickson is Jimmy Cornelius, the 17 machine out of Morris, Manitoba. Kenora, Ontario's own Jonathan Daniska, your current leader in the 250A class. He was highly touted yesterday in practice, being shown some of the better lines with DJ Murphy, one of the track workers and one of the owners of the track, getting some pointers that you're not getting able to ride at any type of speed or anything like that. Won't be able to do so for a couple of months yet. Like Josh Firmer seriously giving chase here. He wants to go out and get Daniska. A great ride so far from Firmer. Slight mistake there from Firmer, but he keeps it on 2 wheels. Sitting in your 3rd place spot is Brian Clausen, but he's got a rear mirror absolutely full of Jimmy Cornelius. Cornelius after that last lap getting past Jimmy Fredrickson. Fredrickson now relinquishing a position to Brady Love, the 444 machine. Also out of Kenora, Ontario. collision for the 309 machine of Adam Orvis, as he's now hunted down by Chase Fardeau on the 493 machine, 453 machine. Love has now cemented himself in the 4th place position. Giving chase is Jimmy Fredrickson. Fredrickson looking to take that outside line. More momentum carries him around it, but he's still got to get around Brady Love. Love with the advantage coming into the next right-hand corner. Pair of right-hand corners leads into a very tight left-right switchback corner here at Zhoda. The lines kind of come together as they freight train back towards the finish line. Your leader from Kenora, Ontario. He's an absolute monster in the sand. Jonathan Niniska. Now starting to make up some ground though is Josh Firmer, former provincial number 1, looking to establish himself as at least the fastest 250F rider on the day. On the gas right now, trying to make something happen. He's got the outside line, won't be able to go to the top of the crest at the same time as Niniska, but he's actually putting on some serious pressure here. And now making the pass, Josh Firmer. He's no joke. That kid's got some moves and he's put himself in the number 1 ride. Just ahead of the kid from Kenora, Ontario. Niniska and Firmer follow the leader through that roller section in the back section of the track. Both riders putting a serious gap over the 3rd place rider, which is Jimmy Cornelison on the 17 machine. In 4th place right now, Brian Clausen, followed by Brady Love. The 6th place rider is Jimmy Fredrickson, followed by Devin Weeb. And just behind those two, another Kawasaki, I believe that's Travis Mossat. Now leading and looking good doing it, Josh Firmer, the 314. Growing up wearing the number 14, had to throw another number on there once he turned pro, decided to go with the 3. Seen with a couple of different numbers over the years, but predominantly the 314. I remember the first race he turned pro, or at least intermediate rather, was at Grunthal back in, I think that was 2007 roughly. Really young rider. Has been pro for a number of years now. Carried the number 1 plate and the bike quits on him. Absolutely just devastating. The bike giving up on Josh Firmer. He's got to be upset about that. Talking to Firmer yesterday, we talked about his Suzuki being pretty stock and it being a reliable setup. Not proving to be the case here as the bike quits on him and relinquishing the lead to Niniska, who for all intents and purposes was the 2nd fastest rider out there, but now will inherit the lead. And continue to lead this one. He led a lot of laps to begin this moto, and now completely by himself. Looking to collect that white flag soon. Probably couldn't have found a further place away from the pits for Firmer's bike to let go. He's got a couple of football fields worth to push that bike back to the pits. Tough moto for Josh Firmer. That is a huge bummer. That, ladies and gentlemen, is why you race 2 strokes. Cornelison also benefiting from the motor letting go, is now in 2nd place. I do believe this is his best finish as a professional here in Manitoba in the A class. Brian Clausen moves up to third, so that's your top three. Grady Love, just like the numbers on his bike, is in fourth place. As he drops the bike, a lapse of concentration for the 444 machine, maybe a little bit of fatigue coming in there as he puts the bike down, relinquishing 3 positions at a moment's notice, and now finds himself outside the top 5. Now your 4th place rider, I believe he's about 48 years old, Jim Fredrickson out of Brandon, Manitoba, followed by the 192 of Travis Mossett, also out of Brandon. Out of Winnipeg is Devin Weave, the 78 machine, looking good. He's brought to you by TransCanada Kawasaki, Shift Racing, and Popeye Supplements. One more lap. One more lap for Naniska as he has led basically from the beginning. Relinquished the lead for a short period of time here to Josh Firmer, only to get it back on a mechanical. He's been fast from the get-go and has opened up a sizable lead over the 17 machine of Cornelison. Cornelison riding a lonely moto as he's got a sizable gap over Brian Clausen, the number 2 machine. Everyone's spread themselves out as it's quite a distance back to Jimmy Fredrickson and Travis Mossett, rounding out your top 5. 6th place, Devin Weeb, followed by the 3 machine of Travis Clausen. Final approach, 1 more quarter to go. The fan monster himself, Jonathan Naniska, with a fist in the air, collects his first moto victory in Manitoba. 250 A-class victory. Thumbs up from friends and family as he's got a huge amount of supporters out here. An entire cheering section with signs and noisemakers, the whole 9 yards. They came out in droves all the way from Kenora, Ontario to cheer this kid on. The Naniska Boosters Club, they're known as. You can bet your bottom dollar they're not here to cheer on Jake Parnell, who's outside the top 5 in his moto. Probably disgusted with that kid, but just disown him altogether. Next is 85cc, 7 to 11 and 12 to 16, followed by the 250 B class. In the radio voice. Directly following our little ladies and 50s motos, there'll be a short break for track maintenance. Maybe take some of these big rollers out of some of these sections of the track, make things a little bit more manageable for some of the riders having some difficulty up there. And then we're going to do this all over again, second half of the day, here from Zhoda International Raceway. That rhymed. the battle between the 85cc combatants is hot as McGuire Yaruski with another patented hole shot. But don't look now, but here comes Bryce Wage on the 101 machine, dressed in that very bright colored FXR gear. A couple of Husqvarnas out front, followed by an orange KTM of Riley Clausen, then followed by a white KTM of Halbert there. Ashton Halbert on the 103 machine currently sits in the third place spot. He'll do battle with Clausen all day long. Sam Cosgrove now battling with the 714 of Vanessa Stinson. Stinson puts her Kawasaki 85 into the top 5 now. Holding down the 7th place spot, that's the 18 machine of Michael Halson. The 501 is Chris Boyko. That's the entirety of your 13 or 12 to 16 class. Leading the way on his KTM, I believe Carver Friesen out front in the other class, the 7 to 11 class. Big Wheel 85s out there on the line right now. Bryce Wage making it look easy. McGuire Yaruski making it look easier, as he currently holds down the lead in the 7 to 11 class. These kids do battle every single weekend. McGuire often getting the better of Bryce Wage, but always a great combatant, always a great competitor. Is Bryce Wage making his way as their lines cross over a bit there. Seeing what they can't make happen as they battle together. The 131 of Ryan Lee also races in the 65 class. The 25 machine of Jacob Fredrickson. Bailey Orbanski out there on the 85. I mentioned that earlier, that you'd see her on the 65 and the 85. Looks like an issue at some point for the 995 of Yaruski. He's got some homework to do. He's got a lot of ground to make up on Wage now, who's got the lead and a little bit of confidence. Yaruski leads the way, or Yaruski following now. Bryce Wage on the 101 machine. Having himself a great ride so far. Sitting in that number 1 position. Ashton Halbert now getting the better of Riley Clausen. Clausen relegated back to the 4th place spot. In 5th, I do believe, is Sam Cosgrove, as he's now taken that position away from Vanessa Stinson. The 714 machine must have had an issue, because she's also given up that spot to Michael Halson. Halson rocking that brand new set of graphic number kit from the new image that was installed as recently as yesterday evening. Lauren Yaruski and like a small issue there for the 54 machine. Crossing going down, it looks like. Possibly that was a different rider. KTM with their little number plates doesn't help me out always. Still out front, but the lead has dwindled. Bryce Wade, and down goes Wade. High siding off of one of those jumps. Doesn't look like he's any worse for wear. Goes to pick up the motorcycle. Looks like he may have winded himself. Bryce Wade going down that bright FXR gear. Definitely pushing the pace there as they were putting Bailey Urbanski a lap down. Maybe didn't take the line that he was hoping to. That resulted in a small get-off from Wade, who's getting back into the race. Gets back in the third place spot, and he's got some work to do, because now I think he's got a race on his hands between himself and Ashton Halbert. Obviously wants to still have his best finish possible, want to get into that number 2 ride, and if he's able to feel comfortable and ride to his potential, he'll get that second place position. Albert wants to have something to say about it as he continues to give chase. Far and away out front now is McGuire Yaruski. As I mentioned earlier, both Yaruski and Bryce Wade looking to qualify themselves for this summer's Loretta Lynn's Amateur National Championship in Hurricane Mills, Tennessee. Last year, McGuire representing Manitoba at that race, doing quite well at Loretta's. Loretta Lynn's being the premier amateur national race, basically the whole world wide. That's where every racer goes to test their mettle. He was able to qualify and do so last year. Granted, it's a pretty stiff competition, but that's the way it is at Hurricane Mills, Tennessee. There's always some fast riders there. Directly following this lap, upon completion of this moto, the 250B class, 250C class, and then we'll have the little ladies and 50 classes. Their motos will finish off the morning. Another get off as Bryce Wade not having a moto that he'd like to remember. Very unfortunate for the young man who works very hard. Same section going down. Off of the back section of the track, looks like the 12 of Cosgrove going down. That might be a KTM actually. Bummer for Wade. Is he going to remount? But definitely not a moto that he was looking for after leading a good portion of this one. Finds himself on the ground twice. This track will jump up and bite you every once in a while. Wade certainly finding that out. Looks like the bike's not any worse for wear, so he'll be able to finish. His moto result will be right around the 4th place spot in the 12 to 16 class. Wage is looking to finish now. He's just ahead of Sam Cosgrove, who I believe was sitting in 5th place at the time. And the rest finishing off their lap out there. You got Vincent on the 714 out of Manitoba. Quite the drive to get here. Up next we'll see the 250B class. Jake Parnell, Simon Briggs, Brady McLeod, Michaela Ham, Trenton Hebert, Ricky Balkin, Declan Cosgrove, Kyle Warner, Dane Rogers, Jordan Siemens, Ryan Kokoritz, Damian Rogers, and Neil Neufeld in this next one, as well as Nikki Osnatch, Tyler Grumpelt, Rylan Katazinski, who took your Open B class moto victory, so look for a good thing from him. Riley Patterson, he always gets good starts. Mackenzie Hancock coming back to racing after a couple of years removed. Austin Dorn on the 122. Lyndon Baker and Jordan Gledhill. Gledhill also gets good starts on his Yamaha. We'll see how it all pans out after the gate drops. Fans lining the fences in anticipation for this moto to drop. 250B class, usually one of the more competitive classes out here. Young riders trying to prove themselves. The gate is dropped, and we'll see who's going to grab that whole shot and get their best chance at the plastic trophy. Like I had mentioned, Patterson usually gets good starts, and he does, but it's Gordon Gledhill out the front, 5:36, a great start as well. Katazinski caught the middle of the pack. The riders file their way through. Everyone gets through cleanly. Your leader, the 989 of Jordan Gledhill. The kid's been racing in Manitoba for gotta be close to 15-20 years already. Racing in the 50cc class like 15 years ago. I think he's around 20-21 years old right now. So he's starting around the age of 4 or 5 years old. He's still here, he's still racing. The 5:36 is not in my program. He's in 2nd place though, so good for him. He's got duct tape numbers and he's not on my program. That's awesome. Selection on the first lap, the back section. Their way to the front. We got a name on that 2nd place rider. Oh, that's Lyndon Baker. Should put the right number on his bike because he's not the 536. Oh, it's X. 531X. Lyndon Baker in second place, followed by Simon Briggs on the 125. Then you've got Riley Patterson. Dustin Scheibler out there on the 143 machine, making his way through the pack. Not the start he was looking for, but looks like he's going to be able to make some passes out there. Also an ugly start for the 94 machine of Brady McLeod, who's often at the front of these motos. Parnell now on the back of the 29 machine, the 27 machine of Ryan Kokoruds. The 33 machine of Jordan Stevens through the pack as well. Still your leader, Jordan Gledhill. He's got a the guys behind him. As Baker relinquishes that second place spot. The 114 of Simon Briggs. I could be wrong, but I do believe that Briggs is from North Dakota, coming up and racing this series. The 531X of Lyndon Baker. He's followed by Riley Patterson. Patterson on the first stroke with a great line and able to make two passes there. Briggs able to take that position back the way the lines linked up. Patterson on that four-stroke. Some of these split lines, most of them somewhat close as far as their speed. Some of them are very different as far as riders ability to make time up. It's all about line selection here. Still is your leader. Patterson now sitting in second place, just ahead of Simon Briggs. Right behind Briggs, though, is a rider who got a horrible start, Rylan Katazinski, kind of come out of nowhere about board his 150 Husqvarna. You can guarantee there's nothing stock about that Husqvarna. Katazinski often riding some pretty exotic modified bikes, probably not a full mod bike, but still able to slash his way through the field right now. Puts himself in that number 3 ride, the 214. His first race here in Manitoba this year. Jake Parnell, the 264 machine, trying to find his way inside the top 5. He's all over the back of Nick Osnatch. Katazinski finds himself on the outside line, but that turns itself into the inside line on the next corner. As down goes Patterson. Patterson throwing that second place away. And now it's Katazinski taking over the second place ride just ahead of Simon Briggs. Jordan Gledhill with your lead. He got the whole shot and he's kept it since then. A great ride from him so far, but knocking on the door now is Rylan Katazinski. There are riders that have no doubt done some battling over the years. Both very talented on 85. I think Katazinski might have gotten the better at Gledhill on occasion. and puts that Husqvarna into the number 1 ride. Coming back from a mid-pack start. Looks like the suspension is working great. He's hooking up everywhere. And at the halfway mark, it's Katazinski with the lead. Katazinski's your new leader ahead of Gledhill. Simon Briggs looking to make a move here, maybe make an effort to put 2 125 machines inside the top 2 here. So far it's all 2 strokes in the top 3, very promising for those 2-stroke levers. Good to see the 53 machine of Ricky Balkan out there after his crash earlier today. He was leading in the schoolboy moto. I think he's now sitting around 6th or 7th in this one. Parnell holding down the 5th place spot, knocking on the door. Baker aboard the 4-stroke. Parnell aboard the 2-stroke. The 2-stroke down, or the Honda down over there. Let's see if we can pull a number off that bike as it goes by. Mackenzie Hancock out there aboard the 138 machine, 252 stroke I think, or maybe it's a 150. Small hiccup for Rylan Katazinski as he opens up a lead here. He puts Brady McLeod a lap down, a guy who's been known to win these races. Uncharacteristic ride from McLeod, might be dealing with an injury or maybe a bike issue of some sort. As he's pulling off completely. Briggs now into the 2nd place spot. A 150 up front followed by a 125. That's pretty cool. The 250B class. Parnell, after a bad start, has now worked his way up to the 4th place, or the 3rd place spot, or 4th rather. Parnell in 4th place on what will be the last lap coming up. He's hot on the tail of Jordan Gledhill. Gledhill falling into the clutches a little bit of Parnell, who's gotten around Baker. See if Parnell can make something special happen on the last lap. I think Gledhill is going to pull out all the stops to maintain that lead, or that position in the top 3, but it looks like Parnell wants to take it from him. Parnell with a good line. Looking like he's a little bit tired out there. Goes off the track, has to re-enter. Relinquishes that position back to Gledhill. Have another about a half a lap to make something happen. The race is for 3rd place here. Jake Parnell aboard his Husqvarna 252 stroke. out of Kenora, Ontario. Hill's got the drive up over top of the biggest crest of the track. A few more corners for these two. Red Hill looks to be pretty tired, but there doesn't seem to be too many more spots for Parnell to make a pass. Parnell airing the triple out. Gets a little sideways coming into that next corner. Doesn't really benefit from jumping that section. Red Hill riding very defensively now, only 2 corners to go. And he won't get him. The battle's actually closer now for second place than it was for third. Parnell ends up 4th, and that's your 250B moto. Excellent racing as always in the 250B class. Jordan Siemens and the rest of the class look to finish off their laps. .250C class will be our last moto of the morning program. We'll have the 50cc races, which we're not able to get a good view of for the video and the announcing, so we'll skip those motos as far as announcing them, and we'll move right on to the second half program once that's ready to go. Out there now, and it's Plaster with the lead, followed by Williamson. The 422 having a bit of a butt ugly start to start his moto. Now into the lead is Williamson in his familiar spot. The rest of the riders filing their way through. A back couple of corners from Plaster as he goes from the first place spot back to about 5th. Sean Bandman followed by Tyler Harajchuk. Out front already. He's shown his dominance over this class so far this year. 101 machine, but Sean Bandman aboard the 250F Husqvarna, he's showing that he's got some speed. The 110 machine of Krapalu currently sits in the 3rd place spot. Couple of 2-strokes in your top 3. Plaster is followed by Harajchuk, and then you have Kokoraj and Millard. James Dahlman also out there aboard his Honda. Bryce Fair on the 16 machine, just ahead of Grant Price. You've got the, should be the 19 of Carrier, but she's rocking her dad's 323 machine. She's just ahead of the 193 or 197 machine rather of Rick Penner. Laps are clicking down here. Second lap of the 250C class. Very windy here, not nearly as pristine as we were hoping for a day of racing here. The wind isn't getting picked up too much on the microphones. I imagine that's pretty much all that's getting picked up. But either way, I'm trying to put myself in a position where at least the wind is at my back, so you get a little bit less of the wind. .101 machine of Williamson out front. Vanman followed by Flopaloo. Behind Cropaloo is the 77 machine of Plaster and the 111 of Tyler Rychuk. Brendan Millard holding down the 6th place spot. The 216 of Leonardo Friesen just ahead of the 89 machine of James Dahlman. James Dahlman is followed by the 16 of Bryce Fair. And you've got Grant Price and the 67 machine of Brendan Kokeruds. Riding a very lonely race in the 5th spot is 323 of Carrier. Making up some ground on her is the 596 of Jordan McNally. He's got a rear view mirror full of Cropaloo. Logan Cropaloo holding down the 3rd place spot, just ahead of Zach Plaster. You've got Tyler Hrychuk. And riding a moto basically by himself right now, Brendan Millard. The 115 in your program, also number 256, as long as you look at the side of his number plates. Those numbers donated by Corey Perrant, peeled off of his bike yesterday and placed by yours truly on his number plates so that he can have some sponsorship there. Rocking that 2017 FXR gear. 1 lap to go for your leader, Nathan Williamson. He's led from the very beginning. He's now got a rear view mirror full of Logan Karopanu, 145 versus 252 stroke. Karopanu has had some pretty good lines out there. It looks like he's able to maneuver that bike wherever he wants. Williamson with a little bit extra horsepower, but when it comes with this truck, it's all about line selection and momentum. The 101 and the 110. Nathan Williamson looking to continue to be perfect on moto wins so far in 2018. Karopanu looking to change that, but looks like he's made a few mistakes here late in this moto that will prevent him from taking that moto victory. He's definitely shown something in this moto though. Not letting Williamson get away from him in any way. Looks like Williamson had some pretty easy wins at Altona. I don't remember Karopanu being there last 2 weekends ago. Checkered flag flies, and it's Williamson followed by Karopanu.